They say the sky keeps a clock older than kings and kinder than memory. On that clock, there is a mark that appears every 5 centuries, a soft notch on the rim of time that glows when 2 lights in the human heart decide to speak to each other again. The old mystics called it the prophecy of the twin stars. You might call it the moment you stop splitting yourself in 2 just to survive. And 2025, for reasons you can feel more easily than you can prove, is the hinge year. The living doorway where the twins choose one voice and one direction without sacrificing their many colors. The prophecy doesn't come with trumpets. It arrives like wind at the window at 3 a.m., like a pull to write what you've always avoided, to apologize to the person you used to be, to answer the message you left on your own soul years ago. Gemini is not two-faced, it is two-hearted, one that questions and one that commits, one that plays and one that protects. For 500 years, the world teaches you to pick only one. The prophecy teaches you to braid them, to be both road and river, to carry speed without losing depth. If this message feels like it found you rather than the other way around, let's keep the thread between us alive. Subscribe to Astro Gemini so this conversation doesn't vanish when the day gets loud. Let these reminders return to you exactly when you need them, like a note tucked into the lining of your favorite jacket that you only discover on the day you are about to give up. The threshold of 2025 is not a disaster bell or a lottery ticket. It is a choice that suddenly becomes undeniable. The air feels thinner, clearer. Distractions lose their sweetness. The old costume itches. You can keep explaining yourself to people who prefer your mask, or you can turn toward the open door that has been hovering in your peripheral vision for years. The twins stand there, each with one hand on the knob, asking you the bravest question in your life. Which version of you are you willing to nourish now?
Maybe your story began with being told you were too much, too quick with words, too curious, too changeable. You learned to fold yourself into smaller shapes to fit the room. You practiced silence when the truth was heavy, and performed certainty when your soul was still learning. To protect love, you divided your voice, one half for them, one half for you. The prophecy doesn't punish you for that. It thanks you for surviving. And then it asks for a reunion. The reunion is not dramatic. It looks like drinking water before the argument. It sounds like a breath before the impulse. It reveals itself when you say, "I need a moment," and the world does not end. The twin stars do not demand that you become someone else. They ask you to stop abandoning the person who knows. They ask you to catch your own hand mid-air, the way a friend would, and say, "We're still here. Let's try again, but with both of us present." Here is the quiet code written in the margin of the 500-year page. 2025 changes everything because you finally hear the click when your voice meets your choice. The messenger and the maker fuse. Your gifts stop leaking into people who don't value them. Your words stop auditioning for rooms that prefer noise to truth. What begins as a spiritual whisper becomes a practical calendar. Projects finished, boundaries spoken, conversations healed, detours released. The twins stop running in opposite directions. They begin to dance. Long before you learned your birth chart or the names of your pain, you made a silent promise to return when it mattered. The prophecy of the twin stars is not a headline. It's an old agreement ripening. 500 years is the time a forest needs to forget a fire. It's the time a soul needs to stop pretending. When the wind changes, The stories you've told about yourself, I'm flaky, I'm hard to love, I can't focus, I always ruin the ending, begin to loosen like old knots. You see how each sentence was a shield, not an identity. You see how intelligence became camouflage and humor became armor, and how both kept you far from the tenderness you needed most.
The shadow of a messenger is not malice, it is exhaustion. When you're skilled with words, it's easy to hide behind them. When you're quick with ideas, it's easy to live on possibilities and postpone reality. The prophecy doesn't scold you, it lights the hallway back to sincerity. Honesty is not a performance, it is breath. In 2025, breath becomes strategy. The practices that once felt optional now feel like oxygen. Pausing before you promise, choosing one sacred priority for the day, speaking one clear boundary without apology, allowing your body, not your panic, to decide when the conversation ends. If anything in this feels like a mirror gently turning toward you, press like on this video so your future self can find this landmark again. A simple gesture, but it places a stone on the path, visible, solid, so the next time you loop back, you'll know exactly where you stood when you chose yourself. The language of the prophecy is simple and exacting. 4 wins for the twins. Wind 1, honesty. Name what you want out loud, even if your voice shakes. Wind 2, curiosity. Ask yourself kinder questions, not harsher ones. What am I protecting by hesitating? What would be enough today? Wind 3, tenderness. Keep your inner critic on a short leash. Let your inner mentor take the mic. Wind 4, commitment. Small dailies beat grand declarations. 15 honest minutes beat 3 hours of avoidance cloaked as research. You will be asked, quietly but repeatedly, to choose between spark and flame. Spark is the rush of the new. Flame is the warmth of the kept promise. You know spark well. Flame is the muscle you're building now. Gemini does not need to become a different sign to keep promises. You need to keep promises in a way that honors your nature. Make the work playful, not performative. Make the schedule flexible, not porous. Make the conversation alive, not endless. In 2025, the world will offer you more doors than you can count. Your power will not be in knocking on all of them. It will be in closing the wrong ones gently and fully, so your hands are free to turn the right handle. Relationships will be your mirror and your forge. The people who benefit from your confusion will get louder. The people who love your clarity will get closer. You will be tempted to translate yourself into a dialect that costs you peace. Don't. The twin stars glow brightest when you speak in your own weather. Choose companions who can hold the breeze without asking you to become brick. Choose work that uses your voice without devouring it. Choose rituals that restore your nervous system. You are not unreliable, you are recovering from over-promising in a world that sold you applause for effort and silence for need. Abundance for an airborne soul is not only money, it is spaciousness. It is the ability to think without panic, to feel without drowning, to decide without bargaining away your future. In 2025, abundance arrives as coherence, the same story on your tongue, in your calendar, and in your bones. The prophecy does not deliver treasure to your doorstep. It teaches you to stop leaving your treasure on other people's porches. It invites you to spend your genius where it multiplies, not where it is mined. Let this year have a ritual you can touch. Call it the Twin Stars Rite. At dawn, choose any dawn, stand where the air can find your skin.
Place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your throat. Breathe a slow count of 7, then speak this gently. I am both messenger and maker. I speak what I can keep. I keep what I dare to speak. Write it on paper you like. Fold it twice. Carry it. When the day tries to split you into the version that pleases and the version that disappears, touch the paper and choose the third option, the version that tells the truth kindly. Make a promise to your younger self, the one who learned to be quick because being open felt dangerous. Tell them you won't use speed to escape anymore. You will use it to respond. Tell them you won't use charm to negotiate with your own boundaries. You will use it to host conversations where everyone, including you, gets to stay human. Then give them a job. The child in you is not a ghost. They are the keeper of your wonder. Let them pick one curiosity each week and play with it for an hour, no agenda. This is not wasting time. It is irrigating your creativity so your commitments can drink.
Here are 7 vows for the 500-year door. I will stop calling self-betrayal flexibility. I will stop calling self-neglect humility. I will let my clarity be as gentle as my humor. I will keep one promise to myself before noon each day. I will end conversations that require me to abandon my nervous system to stay liked. I will build containers, time blocks, boundaries, closing rituals, so my ideas can safely land. I will not postpone joy until I am done healing. Joy is how I heal. Schedule small, sacred consistencies. 5 minutes to write before screens. 2 texts a week to people who feed your light. A weekly appointment with silence. Mark thresholds. When work ends, close the door with a sentence. I'm proud of what I moved today. The rest belongs to tomorrow. Mark beginnings. When you open a project, state why it matters in one line. The twins become unstoppable when your beginnings and endings are named. Without names, everything blurs. With names, everything breathes. The prophecy wants your body in the room, not just your mind in the cloud. Walk as you think. Speak standing up when the thought is tangled. Drink water before you decide. Put your phone out of reach when you promise yourself depth. Don't negotiate with yourself like you're a stranger. You know your tells. The way your attention scatters right before you touch something important. The way you feel tired only when it's time to begin. That tiredness is fear with a mask on. Hold its hand. Start anyway for 10 minutes. Momentum is medicine. When love enters this year, it will test the integrity of your voice. You will be tempted to earn harmony by shrinking. The Twin Stars prophecy says, harmony is the music 2 honest notes make when they refuse to imitate each other. If you bend until you break, the music stops. If you stand rigid, the song can't move. Choose fluid strength. I can meet you here, and I won't follow you there. The right people will relax when they hear that. The wrong people will call it difficult. Believe the response.
You will be asked to forgive versions of yourself that built safety with strategy. Forgiveness is not permission to repeat, it is permission to release. Put your old names in a bowl: people pleaser, runner, ghoster, almost, and burn them safely if you can, or bury them under a plant. Replace them with truer names: bridge, breath, listener, finisher. Then wear those names like a thin gold chain only you can feel, and let them warm with your skin. There is a moment when sailing where the wind changes direction so slightly that only someone close to the fabric can feel it. The sail flutters, the rope hums, and the boat, without drama, chooses a new line across the water. 2025 is that moment. You don't need permission to tack. You need presence. The 500-year prophecy is not about spectacle. It is about precision. It is about hearing the hum and moving your hands. This may look like leaving a job that rewards your ideas but never lets them land. It may look like gently closing a storyline that feeds on your uncertainty. It may look like calling a friend you turned into a stranger because you didn't know how to be honest then, and now you do. It may look like declining the 7th opportunity that doesn't honor your pace, so the 8th, which does, can find a place to stand. It may look like deleting the numbers you only call when you want to forget yourself. It may look like learning to cook a simple meal because your body is tired of surviving on adrenaline. Each small choice writes a larger sentence. Each kept promise turns the wheel. The twins are not indecisive. They gather data until their body says now. Listen for now in your bones. It rarely shouts. It's the soft certainty you feel right after a quiet kind of grief. It's the calm that follows the loud yes you said to yourself in private. Courage for air signs is seldom a roar. It's often a sentence said at the right volume to the right person at the right time. I'm not available for this. I've outgrown that. I'm ready. No. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye.
You are not late. You are right on the cliff where language becomes life. The twins meet here, shoulder to shoulder, and decide to fly in one direction. Not because variety is wrong, but because scattered flight never reaches home. Let your multiplicity become mastery. Let your bridges carry something worthy. Let your curiosity stop hunting for a way out and start looking for a way through. The prophecy completes itself each time you let your words and your days tell the same truth. When you feel doubt creep in, remember the forest that forgot its fire and still grew tall. Remember the paper in your pocket with the vow you wrote. Remember the breath that steadies your hands. Remember how far you've come without anyone noticing, including you. And then take one more small step in the direction that feels like relief disguised as responsibility. That is usually the path. I want to keep walking with you while this unfolds. If these words helped you anchor a choice or soften a fear, subscribe to Astro Gemini so the guidance can continue at the exact pace your life is ready to move. Tap like to place a signal flare in this moment, one your future self can see from far away when the weather turns and you need to find your own shoreline again. And because every prophecy becomes personal only when we give it a name, tell me yours. Share your date of birth and your zodiac sign in the comments, especially if you're a Gemini or carry strong Gemini placements. Tell me where your path bends in 2025, what conversation you're finally ready to have, what promise you're prepared to keep. Your story helps another traveler recognize their own. Your voice strengthens the wind for both of us.